So, you want to be a YouTuber? Well, the first thing you need to do is sacrifice your firstborn to the algorithm god. And then cry because your video only got 23 views anyways. Trying to be a YouTuber in the modern era is a very interesting topic. Nowadays, more than ever, there's so much competition when it comes to trying to make a successful YouTube channel. Gone are the days of recording Let's Plays and getting infinite money. They patched Expo years ago. You actually have to put in effort now and think about the quality of your content. Along with that, there's so many complexities and nuances when it comes to YouTube that every YouTuber has to consider, whether it be the ever-evolving digital landscape, the infamous YouTube algorithm, the unavoidable pitfalls when it comes to making videos, or the balance between quantity and quality. Wow, that's a lot actually. Being a YouTuber sucks. The point is there are a lot of things you need to know when wanting to become a YouTuber. It's a very complicated and difficult process that honestly requires a lot of luck and skill to gain that success. And becoming a successful YouTuber in our current day and age is like me trying to stop committing acts of terrorism. It's almost impossible. But if you watch this video, I guarantee that by the end, you will waste 30 minutes of your time. Before you even touch the create button, there's a lot of preparation that you need to do. First of all, do you have a computer? Like seriously, do you have a PC or maybe a laptop that you can make videos on, and a microphone that's high quality enough for YouTube, and a camera if you're gonna use your face, and editing software and a software to make your thumbnail? Okay, maybe I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. Let's rewind a little bit. So, you wanna be a YouTuber. Wait, I went back too far. Sorry. First of all, you're gonna need to know what type of content you're gonna make in the first place. What is your channel gonna be? Is it gonna be a gaming channel, a movie review channel, a food channel, an ASMR channel, an AI slop channel? The point is there are a lot of options that you're gonna have to choose from. So before anything, it's important to think about what you're actually gonna cover. Also, please don't do the last one I mentioned. You're actively making a world a worse place for everyone if you are. And even after you think about what your channel is gonna be about, you have to think about the specifics of the topic that you're covering, which I'll talk about a bit later. Unless you click off before you watch that part, but that would make me sad, so don't do that. Once you decide what your channel is gonna be about and stuff, you now need to— oh my gosh, that voice show was insane. You now need to think about the equipment that you need. Yes, you need equipment. The main thing you need to know about this part is that YouTube is literally pay to win. Now bear with me. Nowadays, the expectations of being a YouTuber are incredibly high, so the more expensive and high quality stuff you have, like a computer, mic, etc., the greater your chances will be to become the pro gaming YouTuber you so desperately want to be. If you by chance came into this video as a middle class 12-year-old thinking that you can become just like your favorite YouTubers by making a secret YouTube channel using your 10-year-old Dell laptop and hiding it from your parents or something like that, you're better off going viral by running over a family of 4. I would know. Like about the first part. The unfortunate circumstances of the matter is that if you truly want to gain any sort of success on YouTube, you're gonna have to meet the very high expectations of YouTube in one way or another. Nobody's gonna want to watch some kid on an Xbox mic playing Fortnite on a Bandicam. The bare requirements for YouTube is a decent studio mic, a decent camera if you're planning to make videos with your face on it, a recording software, a decent computer that can handle rendering relatively well at least, an editing software, and a voice that doesn't sound like you're still in middle school. So I just crushed about 300,000 kids' dreams and aspirations right there. Already that's probably like at least $2,000 or something just for a chance at this YouTube thing. So if you're lower class or something, ooh, I'm sorry. You're out of luck, buddy. Get back to begging on the streets, little bro. Let's get into specifics for a moment. For a computer, a dedicated PC, preferably a gaming rig, is recommended for content creation and also gaming. It's pretty much a necessity for streaming as well as having good internet, but if you're just looking to make videos, a decent enough internet/laptop should be fine. And by decent, I mean it should like be able to run relatively computer heavy processes like rendering and recording, especially if you want to record gaming stuff. Are there still any 9-year-olds watching with their $200 4-year-old Chromebook who still think they can become a pro YouTuber gamer for their career? Did I crush your dreams yet? Anyways, for a computer recording software, I would just get OBS. It's free, has all the tools you need, can be used for streaming, and you can also record your voice with filters at the same time. Or get like Bandicam or something and suffer the consequences. After that, you need a microphone. Obviously, it depends on what your channel is going to be about, but for the majority of you, you're going to need a microphone at least. Preferably, the mic should be some kind of studio mic that's of decent quality. You won't need like a $200 mic, especially if you're just starting out, but get something that sounds good, I guess. Also, please don't get a headphone mic. Like seriously, you need a dedicated mic that isn't attached to your headphones, even for a gaming channel. Just trust me on this one. For people starting out, I recommend maybe something like Fifine. No, I'm not sponsored, but my mic is fine, so therefore it's the best one to buy. If you're upper middle class or even upper class, then you should consider donating to my Patreon, getting a more high quality mic, since that would probably be helpful for YouTube. I recommend I think Yeti has good mics or something. Sorry, I'm like normal middle class or something. Just use Google or something. Also, getting like a boom stand and other fancy stuff with your mic is only needed if you're gonna make gaming content recording your voice, or if you want to be a streamer. So think about what kind of content you're gonna make and waste your money accordingly. For microphone recording software, I would just get Audacity. It's free and it's an ideal choice. Just do it. Also, I don't know any other ones. Now we move on to the camera. For a lot of channels, this won't be necessary, but for a lot of other channels, it will. Now, faceless YouTubers or people wanting to become a faceless YouTuber, a word of advice: stop it. Get some help. Trying to become a faceless YouTuber will actually kill a lot of the potential growth that you can get on your channel. Becoming an actual face YouTuber will boost your growth at least like 300%. Like, genuinely. People relate so much more with, you know, actual people, and a camera will boost your engagement like so much. Trying to become a faceless YouTuber is like 10 times harder to grow. I know a lot of you guys are making like a YouTube channel because you have like social anxiety, or you're like uncomfortable with showing your face in public or whatever, but first of all, that's gay. I probably shouldn't include that. But if you really want to do this whole YouTube thing, you should probably just do it. It'll give you a huge boost compared to your competition, and unless you're like super chopped or something, eventually you get used to being on camera, and 99% of the time, it's better to just record your face and stuff if you truly want to become a pro YouTuber moment. And yes, I know I'm a face YouTuber, but I'm like, you know, I'm like better than everyone. Okay, now you're right, I'm being a hypocrite. Anyways, I don't know what good cameras there are. Go Google it and stuff. What's next? Editing software. You only need one editing software: Windows Movie Maker. Truly the pinnacle of human creation. Wow, I've truly reached the highest point of my editing career. In my mind, there are really only two options: Adobe Premiere and Vegas Pro. I'm sure there's other ones, but I'm just choosing to ignore them, just like I ignore all of my friends and family. At the time I'm making this video, Vegas Pro is like a $200 one-time purchase, while Adobe is like $250 a year? What? Oh my gosh. But who am I, Jeff Bezos? That is crazy. Either way, you're gonna have to pay a pretty penny, or 20,000 pennies. There's also probably other good alternatives, like acquiring these softwares through incredibly legal means, like I did. But also, I'm sure there are other free or cheaper editing softwares that are also good. So do your research or something. Finally, there's one more thing you should probably get: a software to make your thumbnails. Later in this video, you're gonna see that your thumbnail is actually like 50% of how well your video performs, and it is incredibly important. So getting some kind of software for your thumbnails is definitely gonna help you. For rich people, you can get like Adobe Photoshop or Adobe Illustrator or something, but if you don't want to give in to capitalism, you can just get GIMP, which is an open source alternative that's pretty good. Or you can just get another free/cheaper one, or obtain the Adobe ones for free through very legal means. You can also maybe just make thumbnails using your editing software, but generally that's a pretty bad idea if you're actually trying to make a successful YouTube channel. However, if you're just starting out and you're still figuring things out, starting with that can be helpful at first. So that's it for the bare essentials of equipment and making your channel. It's important to first figure out what type of content you want to make and get the equipment based around that. If you're just starting out, try to start with as much free stuff as you can that's still of decent quality, especially if you're a stupid faceless channel that thinks they can get success on YouTube through only their voice against the thousands of other channels that think they can do the same thing, even though their channel is probably going to fail anyways. Did I mention that being a faceless YouTuber is a bad idea? Because 99% of the time, it's a bad idea. Anyways, now that you know what your channel is going to be and have everything you need, now you need to consider Hey, if you're watching this part, you probably skipped to the timestamp. I'm not mad or anything. I think you should just, you know, I need the viewer attention rate, you know? There's a couple of things you need to know in order to officially start your journey to fame and fortune. If by fame and fortune you mean pain and suffering. You have to consider what the scope of your channel is gonna be. Determining the goal you have for your channel is gonna give you the basis of the type of content that you're gonna make, and most importantly, it's gonna help define the type of audience that you have. Now, I haven't covered this yet, but the concept of your audience is by far the second most important aspect of your channel. What does audience mean though, I hear you asking? Well, Luke, an audience is basically the people who are gonna keep watching your channel. But isn't that just a viewer? I hear Luke's dumb voice asking. Well, Luke, why don't you shut up and let me explain? This is why your parents are divorced. A viewer can be anyone who just happens to click on your video. An audience are the people who are returning viewers, who are fans of your channel and will keep watching your videos. The audience is kind of like who your subscribers are, while your viewers are people who just watch a single video and dip out. There's a couple of channels that have a very important thing called a dedicated audience. This is the audience that are bigger fans of you, that will watch all of the videos you put out, the people who relate to you the most. They're kind of like a fan of a sports player. They want to keep sticking by you and watch what you put out. Messi is better than Ronaldo. Getting a solid dedicated audience is a very desired trait to have for your channel that you should strive for as a YouTuber. This type of audience will be incredibly loyal to you, will give you the most engagement and viewer retention, and will most likely watch your videos for the long term, which will set you up for the longevity. However, a dedicated audience is not required for success. The type of audience that you can have will be defined by the scope of your channel, or the type of channel that you're aiming for in a very broad sense. In my definition, there are generally 3 different types of YouTube channels that you can go for: niche, trendy, and the goats. And I know it sounds really stupid, but let me explain it. The first channel you can strive for is a niche channel. I like to define these channels as channels with around 300k or less subscribers with a dedicated audience. Going for this type of channel, you'd usually cover a topic or niche that isn't super popular, but popular enough to gain a small following and present it in a way where your viewers can connect to you. Your videos might not appeal to the masses, but your channel will be unique enough to the point where you can obtain a loyal fan base that will watch you for what you bring to the table, not just about the topic that you're covering. This is probably the route that will most set you up for the future. You might not make the huge numbers that these other YouTubers have, but it's a realistic enough goal that can give you a very nice career on YouTube, and will also set you up for years to come, as long as you upload consistently. You'll also be respected by your audience, which will enable your channel to possibly even gain a dedicated audience, which, you know, I mentioned that's like a good thing to have. It's definitely playing the long game though, and your videos that will get a much smaller amount of views, especially at first. And you kind of have to hope your videos will actually end up getting recommended to the people you're targeting. But eventually, if you keep gambling, it's very possible to get a channel like this, and your channel will be set up for longevity. And once you keep sticking to it, congratulations! You've become a successful YouTube micro celebrity and have a loyal fan base that will consistently watch your videos and get paid less than minimum wage. The next type of channel is the more trendy algorithm worshipping channel. I define this channel that has around like 500k to like 10 million subscribers, maybe more, who cover a topic that's popular to increase the chances of people finding your videos. Generally, you have a relatively formulaic structure to your content, and your content is based on exactly what the algorithm wants. People who watch your videos will watch because they want to be entertained, and your videos will appeal to as many people as possible, meaning half of your fan base will be 8-year-old children. You will gain a lot more views though. This YouTube channel requires more luck and kind of relies on what YouTube likes in the moment, but once you manage to get the ball rolling, your potential audience will be much higher than the previous one, as long as your videos have like a relative amount of effort. If you keep doing what YouTube likes, such as high quality editing, Mr. Beast thumbnails, and loud shouting, views are pretty much guaranteed eventually. It's much easier to achieve this goal than the other channel types, I would say, as long as you put in the work and effort and just follow popular topics that the algorithm is likely to boost. However, this is definitely the most unstable career choice that you can have. Growing your channel like this is kind of based on instant gratification and less about the longevity of your channel, and once the trend or topic that you cover becomes obsolete or people get bored, your audience isn't going to want to stick around. Also, the audience that you will have most likely will not be a dedicated one, increasing the stability of your channel as well as not really being respected within the YouTube community. You're making money, but nobody really knows who you are. It's kind of like the glass cannon of YouTube channels. You want to give up the chance of making an impact on YouTube or giving people comfort through your YouTube channel just for an easier chance at getting dead subscribers and unloyal views, which will steadily decline as you keep going forward. But it is probably the easiest to obtain, so if you want to hop on a trend and get infinite money before your channel dies, go for it, I guess. Now the next channel, the hardest of them all, is the GOATs. I define this channel as the big boys, the one with like 3 million, 10 million, even 100 million subscribers with a dedicated audience. This is probably what you would think of when you think of the dream YouTuber, not that dream. The one that everybody knows, or a decent amount at least. The one you're inspired by in some way. The ones people respect the most. So not Dream. No, nobody respects Dream. He doesn't count. The Mark Kipliers, the Jack Seplicleers, the Corey Kenshinaleriers. I don't know. I just listed 3 gaming channels. There's also these ones. I was too lazy to type in my script. Good job, editor. I'm proud of you. For this channel, you're covering a very broad topic of videos, whether it be all types of video games, random internet topics, or just talking about life and stuff. However, if you're covering topics as broad as this will significantly lower your chances of becoming a successful YouTuber. You need to present your channel in a unique and engaging way, even if it's just for a chance at getting views and stuff. Going for this type of channel not only requires the most skill, but it definitely requires the most luck, and you kind of need to pray that the algorithm likes your videos enough to be recommended to millions of people. You're gonna need some kind of special quality to your videos or personality that will let you obtain that dedicated audience. All the types of channels I mentioned still require some factor of luck, and even sticking to trends and stuff, there's still no guarantee that you're gonna gain any success at all. So when you're aiming for this type of channel, you're basically massively amplifying the luck factor, making your odds even worse. It's like playing Russian roulette, except instead of a gun, you use like a slot machine. I could have just said it's like a slot machine. I don't know why I mentioned Russian roulette. And furthermore, this is the only channel that I don't think anyone can get eventually. Most people can probably get the other YouTube channels in like 20 years if they stick to it, probably. But for this one, you kind of need to be special in some way. Not in the autistic way. I know that sounds pretty strange, but at least in my opinion, you can't become one of the GOAT YouTubers in this way if you don't have some kind of special quality within you, whether it be a unique and funny personality, a unique and charming voice, or just presenting your videos in a very idiosyncratic way. Did I use that big boy word well? The thing that makes this channel especially hard is actually getting that dedicated audience itself. If you want that longevity in content creation while obtaining those millions of subscribers, you need to make your videos in a way that your audience can connect to you as a person. But doing it that way isn't necessarily the most algorithmically successful way, making it a lot harder to get the ball rolling. However, if you do somehow manage to do this, the payoff is huge since, you know, fame and money. It's just, you know, incredibly difficult to do, and you're better off trying out for the Los Angeles Lakers. So yeah, these are the 3 different endings that you can get. Here's the YouTuber spectrum. It makes it sound like a disability or something. On the left, you have the niche channels, which have a smaller potential audience, but great longevity and decent odds. On the middle, you have the trendy channels, which have a much bigger overall potential and better odds, but bad longevity. On the right, you have the GOATs, which have a big potential audience and great longevity, but incredibly low odds. Keep in mind that each of these channels is still very difficult to obtain, and this is a really generalized categorization of these channels. There's plenty of exceptions and complexities, but I think this is a pretty good explanation of the potential within your channel. So for any 12-year-olds still watching the videos who have high hopes to become the next big YouTuber, you might want to lower your expectations a little and lower your scope accordingly. Or better yet, just quit YouTube and focus on school and other activities, making your life more complete as a whole than becoming a YouTuber will ever bring you. Now that you probably figured out what type of channel you want to go for, it's time to actually start that channel that will probably fail miserably in 6 months. First things first, choose what you want to make videos about. Even this step isn't as simple as it might seem, because you need to think about the topic that you want to cover. For example, let's think about a gaming channel. If you're going to be a gaming channel, already you need to pick a specific game or topic for your channel that's actually viable to cover in the current economy. Thinking about being a Minecraft YouTuber? Good luck getting any views on that oversaturated, overplayed market. Maybe being a Fortnite YouTuber? Why do I watch this random guy play Fortnite when I can watch an infinitely better YouTube channel? Maybe you're thinking about doing a little bit of everything? Good luck getting any recommendations from the algorithm though, bro. From what I learned, the more specific your niche is, the greater chance of success you'll have with YouTube overall, but the lower your potential audience will be, which I sort of mentioned previously. You really need to think about what type of videos you're making, if there are any people who would be interested in that sort of content, and you also need to think about how you're gonna differentiate yourself from others who are doing similar things. But once you do figure out everything, it's time to finally click that create a channel button. Here's a really quick guide to the YouTuber creator page. Dashboard. This shows analytics on videos, your channel, and your community. Pretty important when you start getting those views and stuff. 6 out of 10. Content. This shows all the videos you uploaded, as well as shorts, playlists, live streams, and more. Very nice tool. 7.5 out of 10. Analytics. Shows in detail how your channel is doing through views, watch time, and other stuff, and is also important when you're considering YouTube seriously, but you need to be careful you don't get sucked into the mental pitfall of video performance and fall into a downward spiral while all you can think about is how well your video does and become a slave to the algorithm. 8 out of 10. Community shows comments and community posts. This tab has like no point to it. 10 out of 10. Subtitles. You add subtitles to videos. Subtitles out of 10. Quick edit. They actually changed it so it's languages now, and you can review the auto dubbing that YouTube does. The god awful feature. Yeah, this is 0 out of 10 actually. These ones I don't have any experience with them yet, so I just say 9 out of 10 or something. Customization helps you pimp out your homepage and stuff, as well as your profile pic, name, about page, and others. Very helpful page if you want to make your homepage look as good as possible for your viewers. 2 out of 10. And finally, audio library. What the heck is audio library? I'm not paid enough for this. Unpaid labor out of 10. A lot of these you won't have to worry about until like after you actually upload a couple of videos. So if you're just starting out, just focus on making your first video. Yes, it's finally time. You have your StarForge gaming system. You have Adobe Premiere and Photoshop ready to go. You research different niches to cover and are ready to make Pokemon card unboxing videos. You created a channel, made an epic profile picture and channel banner. Now, it's time to make the first video. Here's the meat and potatoes of the video, as well as the time step that most people probably skip to. So now, depending on what your channel is gonna cover, you actually need to like do the video things that you need to do that you need. Depending on what your channel is going to be, you might need to record gameplay, your voice, yourself, or maybe you just need footage and music. I'm not going to talk about how to do all that and stuff because it's mainly just like experience and you can find information yourself online. I'm just going to go over the general structure of a video. For a YouTube video, the success of it is determined mainly by 3 categories: click-through rate, retention rate, and your audience, which have all been previously mentioned, I think. Did I mention that? I probably did. Click-through rate is how often your viewers click on your video. Retention rate is how long viewers end up watching your video. Your audience is, I already explained this one. I don't feel like talking about it again. The audience is more about like your overall channel anyways, so it's not really a focus for this part. But click-through rate and retention rate are all consolidated within a video itself. Optimizing all of these 3 things is basically how you become successful on YouTube. And my epic tips below will help you optimize the first 2. Or you could probably just search up how to do it yourself and get more specific and useful information. But I need my retention rate, so please don't do that. For a YouTube video, by far the 2 most important parts are the thumbnail, which I mentioned before, and the first 5 seconds of the video. Alright, let's talk about the thumbnail. This is the second most important part of your video. It's the thing that will make people click on your video compared to everyone else's. It's the part that people will see immediately and form an opinion about, regardless of the content inside. Basically, YouTube viewers are racist. Have you ever heard the expression, never judge a book by its cover? That is straight up heresy when it comes to YouTube. You can make the best, most intriguing and captivating video of all time, but if you have a thumbnail that looks like this, nobody's gonna click on it. You need to have a thumbnail that is competitive and special. It needs to be something that the YouTube algorithm likes, but it should also differentiate itself from other thumbnails. Okay, nah, I'm lying. You just need to copy MrBeast. That's basically all I need to do to expand your potential views by like 50 times. Just make a really obnoxious face into the camera and you get a really flashy, overstimulating background, maybe with huge clickbait text. I love modern YouTube. If you want to go against the norm, however, some tips I have for making a thumbnail is first to keep it simple. If you add all of this different text with all of the different colors, it's easy to make the viewer feel overwhelmed and less likely to click on your video. Having a minimal amount of text and colors can actually make a thumbnail pop up a lot more for viewers and increase that sweet click-through rate. Also, make sure that the thumbnail correlates with whatever topic you're covering. If you're making a video about, I don't know, how to blow up a hospital, make sure your thumbnail articulates exactly what your video is actually about. Another tip that might be useful is to make it feel grander. For example, look at this thumbnail. It looks pretty basic, probably not something that you would click on. But if I add some shadow under the text, maybe some basic lighting effects, then bam! Oh, shoot, I went too far. You get what I mean though. Make the thumbnail seem a little more professional and not like a 9-year-old who screenshotted Minecraft footage and put default Vegas Pro text over it. Do your best to make a thumbnail that gets the point of your video across using the least amount of elements. That's generally the best rule of thumb for me at least. And through experience as well as research, you can eventually find a pretty good formula for making thumbnails. But if you don't have an ounce of self-respect and pride within you, just do the MrBeast stuff. Anyways, let's talk about the first 5 seconds. This is the hook of your video, as well as the third most important part of your video. The thing that draws in those viewers when they click on that amazing video you made. The thing that establishes what your video is about and gives a reason for the viewers to keep watching. Again, for maximum viewers, just copy MrBeast.
We just got dropped off in the middle of an abandoned city.
So, what did you feel after that 1 second? If you felt annoyed by that obnoxious screaming, overstimulated by the over-the-top editing with sickening motion blur, as well as patronized by the huge colorful text that felt targeted towards 7-year-olds with short attention spans, then congratulations! You now know how to make the most algorithmically successful and soulless way of making popular videos. Obviously, you don't need to go that far, but the thing about YouTube, especially when starting out, is that your success is generally determined not by your personality or talent, but by first impressions. This is why both your thumbnail and your first 5 seconds of your video are so important. But yeah, you basically just want to make the first 5 seconds of your video be as entertaining as possible, whether it be starting with a joke, a more high quality edited segment, or whatever. It needs to show the viewer a good idea of what the video is going to be about as well, while also hooking in as many people as possible. For example, let's say I'm making a serious video about how to survive in Detroit. For a video like that, if I were looking to get the most amount of viewers to stay watching my video, I might open with a high quality cinematic shot of Detroit with some dramatic text on the front, as well as some ambient music and an engaging voiceover. Detroit, one of man's last greatest triumphs. Okay, I know that was really bad, but you get the general premise of what I'm trying to tell you. That intro would probably help hook in viewers, as I started with an entertaining shot while introducing the tone and topic of my video, and promised the viewer more to come as the video goes on. A good way to measure how good both your thumbnail and intro to your video is try to imagine yourself being an unbiased average YouTube viewer. Pretend that you're like a random kid on the internet looking at YouTube videos who knows nothing about your channel and happens to see your video on his homepage. How would you react when you see this thumbnail? Would it be something that you click? Does it look interesting? Or does it look bloated and oversimplified in any way? How do you react to looking at the intro? Is it entertaining or drawing enough for you to want to watch more? Is it too confusing to look at? Does it relate to the rest of the video as well? Keep in mind, this is definitely not a perfect formula, as people have different interests, and what you're gauged to be entertaining or well made may look a lot worse to other people. If you're just starting out, it's especially kind of hard to foresee what potential audience might want to watch the type of videos you make. If you have friends, unlike me, showing them your thumbnail can be very helpful, since generally your friends have similar interests as you, and it's a better gauge to see how good your hook and thumbnail is than if it was just you, because you literally made the thumbnail and video, and it's a lot harder to be less biased. Also, I recommend using some kind of thumbnail viewer that shows what your thumbnail might look like on a YouTube homepage. It might help you determine how eye-catching and epic your thumbnail is. I'm running out of adjectives to use. Okay, that's enough of literally just the beginning of a video. What about the rest of the content? Now, this is the part of the video where things get a little less objective and more subjective. I don't know what your video is going to be about or how long it's going to be or whatever, so I can't give a lot of tips on how to make your video perfect and stuff. However, I'll give some of general necessities that you need to implement. See that I'm like making the topic on my video seem more important in order to make it feel more important for viewers and increase that retention rate. First of all, this might seem obvious, but make it entertaining. Remember that in current YouTube, everyone has incredibly small attention spans, so making your video more stimulating will significantly help boost your numbers and stuff. The general trend for YouTube I see is the more stimulating your video is, the more success you will find. However, if you want to be remembered for your personality or unique style on YouTube, then you're gonna have to make your videos a little less like the other algorithm-defining videos on the site. You can still make a very entertaining video without the average YouTube editing, and add your own flair and stuff, which might make videos more memorable, but it also might hurt you as far as the algorithm stuff goes. If you have an editor who's experienced with editing, then that would be very helpful, since they actually know how to make edits that are higher production levels. However, I'm guessing at least like 95% of people watching this, so probably like 3 people, don't have an editor on payroll, and also don't have friends. So unfortunately, you're gonna have to learn how to do it yourself. Oh yeah, you can figure that out. I'm not gonna teach you. Second tip, keep your video cohesive. It's easy to make a video confusing from unclear messages or bad flow from part to part, which my video probably did honestly. So make sure you just keep to your topic and have a fluid pacing throughout. Anyways, let's talk about the current political and social climates of Afghanistan. Third tip, be consistent. It's easy to make a video confusing from unclear messages or bad, oh wait, I said that already, didn't I? Cohesive and consistent are like basically the same thing for a video. Just rewatch the second tip as the third tip. if that makes any sense. These are your 3 C's: cohesive, consistent, and entertaining. So yeah, do that. Also, don't expect that you're gonna make the perfect video on your first try. Chances are your first video will suck, but as long as you stick to it and try to improve, you will get better over time. Only I'm able to make perfection on the first try. I'm truly the greatest. One more small tip I have that I don't think a lot of people like to cover is about the ending of your video. Obviously, this is more of a niche application, but if you're making like a scripted video or some kind of video that tells a story in some way, making a good ending for that video, I believe, will make more of an impression on viewers who watch to the end and help you expand your audience more. Maybe even start getting a dedicated audience, who knows? This probably won't apply for a lot of channels, which is why I'm keeping this tip short, but I don't know, I think it's worth mentioning. Now that you made your video and rendered it into a 1080p MP4 file on its highest quality settings, it's time to upload it through YouTube. First, click this button, then exit out of it. Then go to settings, channel, advanced settings, and remove YouTube content. Click select files, select your file, make a title, description, and upload a thumbnail. There's also some advanced settings at the bottom of the page, which I recommend looking through just in case, and also research these settings because I don't really know what they do. Then click next and stuff, and then you can figure out this part because I'm getting tired of explaining. And then click save and you're done. Yippee! You uploaded your first video! And that's it for making an actual YouTube video. As long as you work hard and make an entertaining and immersive video, chances are you'll make a successful video as well. If the chances are like 5% out of like 1,000%. Okay, yeah, even if your video is really good, you probably won't gain success on your first video since you don't have an audience yet or analytics that the algorithm can find information with. So that's where the next topic comes in. Now, we can finally cover if you want to make a successful channel, you're gonna have to pour hours into it day by day and use a lot of your energy. The more you do it though, the more experience you gain and the more you'll understand what works on YouTube and what doesn't. It's kind of like working out. You most likely won't get stronger from like the first week, but if you stay consistent at it, then it will get much easier. Or you can take steroids. Anyways, enough with the bad analogies. Here's some tips on how you can expand your channel to a wider audience as well as maintain your channel's success. First of all, stay consistent. Find what your channel's upload schedule is gonna be like. Are you gonna upload every day? Are you gonna upload weekly, once a month, less than that? Unless your videos are like super high quality and like 2 hours long. Generally, you want to stay uploading at least once a month. Any less than that and the algorithm lord is gonna look down on you. Obviously, there's some exceptions to this rule. Cory Kenshin. But generally, especially for a new YouTuber, that's how it works. Depending on your content, you want to try uploading as much as possible for a higher chance to go viral and stuff, but also not too much where it starts affecting the quality of your content. For example, if my channel started uploading daily, I would probably have to make a lot of awful videos which have like no chance to get any views, so that would be a bad idea. Consistency is probably the most important aspect when it comes to maintaining and expanding your channel. Consistent uploads will make your current audience always count on you uploading a video, making them stick around, and it will also give the YouTube algorithm more reason to recommend your channel to others, expanding your channel as well. Another thing you can do to help this is make a recognizable and professional YouTube homepage. Once you have enough videos in your catalog, if your channel homepage looks like my current one still, then you're probably going to turn down a lot of potential audience members. Get a good channel banner that helps represent your channel and looks good, as well as a good channel profile picture and stuff. It seems simple, but having a recognizable or unique channel profile picture and banner will actually help viewers connect to you and stuff, helping your channel grow even more. Also, you should organize your videos. Don't just have like one line of videos on your homepage. That looks kind of bad. Organize them through different topics, popular uploads, recent uploads, etc. and whatever. Best example of what you should do is a Technoblaze homepage, I guess. Look how clear and organized this is. Different categories for different videos. If a new viewer stumbled across this YouTube homepage, they would probably think, wow, didn't this guy die of cancer? But yeah, the homepage would also look cool. RIP Technoblaze. Alright, let's talk about YouTube Shorts for a brief moment. YouTube Shorts has become a huge part of the current meta of YouTube. Making Shorts will expand your content immensely since it's much easier to gain views on Shorts than long-form content nowadays. You can even build careers using only Shorts now, which may not be the best thing. However, even though it seems like a godsend, it's not all that simple. Believe it or not, YouTube Shorts can actually end up hurting your channel as well. Since YouTube Shorts greatly inflate views and the performance of your channel, it'll give you a lot of dead subscribers, which basically means subscribers who never watch your stuff or forgot they subscribed. And it can give the algorithm the wrong view of your channel and analytics, and it can hurt your potential growth. But Shorts are still definitely a really good tool for most YouTubers, and Shorts can give a lot of channels more recognition and overall growth, especially with the increasingly shorter attention spans as our world progresses, leading to more and more stimulating content, leading to even shorter attention span, leading to more reliance on digital media until eventually So yeah, use shorts accordingly and stuff. Now let's talk about the length of your video. Right now, 8 minutes is like the minimum for YouTube videos, it seems like, since, you know, 8 minutes or longer means mid-roll ads, meaning money. Nowadays, it seems like there's a lot more longer videos on the site that are getting popular, especially for like documentary or informative type videos, like this one. My theory is that if people want to watch shorter videos, they pick YouTube Shorts or other short form media sites, but if people want to watch longer videos, they actually just pick one long video, then a bunch of 8-minute ones. Actually, that's probably not the reason. Longer videos means a longer attention rate for people who watch the whole video, significantly boosting the algorithm's opinion on the video, getting that video further recommended. I'm getting a little sidetracked. My point is that depending on your content, you should correlate your video to its appropriate length. For example, if you're doing a video explaining everything you need to know about making a YouTube channel, you should probably make that video longer, or the video will seem too fast-paced and hard to follow. However, if you're making a video talking about the recent YouTube drama, you should probably keep that relatively brief, or else eventually it's gonna start being a lot more boring as you run out of things to mention. Editor's note, never mind. Oh my gosh, bro, who watches this? What the heck? Don't forget, you still have to make sure your video is still engaging the whole way through. It's really easy to lose viewers if they start losing interest in your topic, especially for like hour-long videos, so make sure your videos are engaging and stuff. This will definitely help maintain your audience and retention rate, therefore helping you to expand your channel, therefore justifying this part being in the video. Another thing to mention is outside YouTube sources. I'm not really sure if I'm allowed to promote other websites than YouTube, but promoting your channel using other places like Reddit, Twitter, Instagram, or other social media sites can increase your chances to get your channel recognized. This is a topic I don't see enough people talking about, especially when it comes to new YouTubers. One thing I haven't mentioned yet is that for YouTubers, getting your first 1,000 subscribers is the hardest part. It's really hard for people to take a chance on your content or even get recommended your content if your channel has less than that. But once you reach that milestone, the ball really starts rolling and you start getting a lot more traction on your content, at least in most cases. Using outside sources that give you a greater chance of being recognized is a really good way to get your channel out there more easily and help you break out of that under 1,000 subscriber pitfall, since you give yourself more chances to go viral or give yourself more opportunities to expand your audience. Maybe you can post funny clips on your content on Instagram, or reach out to other people for a collaboration, or just post your video on a related subreddit or whatever. Chances are it'll be better than just hoping YouTube promotes your content, and it can definitely help your channel grow. Be careful with Twitter though, that site is a ticking time bomb. And finally, one last small tip for your channel: remember that you can't please everyone. There will always be people who won't like your content, and it's possible that those people will be toxic and stuff in your comments, although I think hate comments are a lot more of like an experienced YouTuber problem. Whether you're starting or are already an experienced YouTuber, don't try to pander to everyone. That's the easiest way you can turn people away from your channel. Just make the best content you can and try to ignore any hate that comes your way. Also, by this I don't mean ignore criticism of any kind. Just don't let negative feedback affect your content or your person in a negative way. And yep, that's pretty much all of the YouTuber tips that I have. Now, with all of that being said, I do not recommend that you try to become a YouTuber. I know, I literally spent like, I don't know, 30 minutes talking about how to become a YouTuber and stuff, but just hear me out. Even if you try to appease the YouTube algorithm in every way, stick to trends, put all of your time into making videos, and pray to Cthulhu, it's still really hard to get recognized like at all. There's gonna be thousands, even hundreds of thousands of people that are trying to do the same thing as you, and you basically have to compete with all of these people for your channel to be the lucky few. Not to mention the current YouTube landscape is already super competitive and riddled with all of these high quality, high production, stimulating videos that most starting YouTubers can't even hope to make. I hate to break it to you, but there's always gonna be somebody who edits better than you, scripts better than you, is richer than you, or is luckier than you. And even if you do get successful this way, how long is that gonna last? Maybe if you're lucky you get a couple thousand subscribers or something like that, but actually having a substantial, long-lasting career through YouTube is probably the most unstable and stupid thing that you can do. And keep in mind, this video was made in 2025. The current YouTube ecosystem is already really bad for new YouTubers. Imagine how much worse it'll be in like 5 to 10 years from now. I might even be dead by then. Let's go. The only reason that somebody should actually start a YouTube channel is only if they're actually passionate about it, are willing to put in the commitment, have a skill set for the things that you need as a YouTuber, and are willing to grin and bear all of the negatives and downfalls when it comes to being a YouTuber. So already that's probably only like 1% of people. 99% of people I don't think should even try to make YouTube videos. And from that rare 1%, you still need to make good content, and you still need to be incredibly lucky. So that's probably around like 99.99 26% of people in total that can't obtain a successful YouTube channel. You might think this is an exaggeration, but it's honestly pretty realistic. From my research, and by research I mean a Google search, and by Google search I mean the stupid AI overview that Google gives you, it says that the chances of becoming a successful YouTuber is like the chances of becoming a professional athlete. So yeah, you might actually be better off trying out for the Los Angeles Lakers. Here's a more detailed look into the statistics of YouTube channels. Even gaining 1 million subscribers, which many people consider is when you can really start making YouTube into a sustainable career, is already less than 0.1% of all channels. 1 over 1,000. Less than that. Even gaining just 100k subscribers is only 0.9% of all YouTube channels, and for a lot of people that's not enough. A lot of people sugarcoat the expectations of YouTube like anybody can become a popular YouTuber, or just keep uploading and improving, you'll get it eventually. But realistically, YouTube isn't that black and white. And even if you make great videos, more times than not, it's not gonna gain any recognition anyways. So default, you might be wondering, why are you trying to become a YouTuber? You spend all this time telling us how not to make a YouTube channel while you're trying to become one yourself. Are you stupid or something? You're actually an idiot. Like, I genuinely hate you. Like, your general presence makes me unreasonably angry. Can we cut this? Has no purpose. If you were gone tomorrow, it would actively make life better for you. It might seem a little hypocritical of me to lambaste YouTube about being terrible and super unrealistic and stuff, while I'm starting a YouTube channel. And I could say the reason was to lower competition by manipulating the masses into not starting YouTube, thereby increasing the chances of my channel getting recognized among my competitors, but obviously I wouldn't do that. I'm a good person. To explain myself, we're gonna have to go back in time a little bit. We're gonna have to go back all the way to 2021, back to my early YouTube career, where it all started. Red Static. Ignore the profile picture, it was a nostalgic era for me. Red Static is the channel where I officially started doing YouTube. The default channel actually isn't completely new. I've been uploading on the Red Static channel for like 3 years already, and I still upload on there and stuff. So I actually do have some experience. Yeah, that's like the plot twist of the video. I'm actually kind of an experienced YouTuber. Granted, this channel isn't a very successful one or anything like that, but even so, I learned a lot throughout my 3 years on YouTube. And I mean, 700 subscribers is pretty good all things considered. I learned many important lessons like what works in the algorithm, what thumbnails are the best, making good content, your YouTube community, and most importantly, how much I enjoyed making YouTube videos. Even though I wasn't making the best content or anything, it was still really fun for me to do and I didn't have too many worries. But during this time, I also learned another important lesson. YouTube isn't what it used to be. If I really wanted to keep doing YouTube, if I really wanted it to become a good use of my time, I needed success. And the type of channel I was running, I realized would never gain success. I wasn't putting in nearly the amount of effort I needed to, and the type of content that I made just wouldn't be recognized in the current YouTube landscape. I loved doing it, but at the end of the day, I knew I couldn't do this sort of content forever, and eventually it would end up just being a huge waste of time. So eventually, I decided to make a new channel called Mr. Beast, and I became the world's most successful YouTube channel. It's too easy. But for real though, I decided to make default as a way to make more high quality stuff and focus on making it more of a bigger channel that could be more mainstream and possibly gain more recognition. It would be a channel that I would generally work hard on to hopefully make some great videos and give something that the viewers could latch onto and relate with. I wanted to make something worthy of success, something that had the chance of truly blossoming into a real YouTube channel. So I got to work. I set up everything about my channel. I created the little cube animations. I made a script, picked music, edited everything, and around 6 months later, I finally released my first video, The Beauty of Simplicity. After spending such a long time on it, I was really happy that it was finally out. Even though I knew it was unrealistic, I was really hoping it would gain some traction, especially for the effort that I put into it. And honestly, it actually did really well for like my first YouTube video ever. But despite this, I can't lie and say I wasn't disappointed. I was too focused on the success or the performance of the video. I knew my video was worthy enough to gain a lot more views, so I set my expectations pretty high. And when it finally came out, I was left feeling a little discouraged. Even though I was really proud of what I did, and I thought it was a great video, it didn't matter as much to me if the views didn't match that standard, and I was honestly a little upset. But this whole process made me realize something. Even though at first I was disappointed, at the end of the day, I honestly didn't really care. I didn't care about how well the video performed. I didn't care about the money or views. I didn't care if people liked it or hated it. I made a video that I love making, where I got to share my opinions, crack a few jokes, and stay true to myself while talking about something I was passionate about. Before I made this video, after I planned everything out about this new channel, I decided that if my video didn't gain 1K views, I was gonna quit YouTube forever. I announced this on the Red Static channel the same time my default video went public. I know this is a little bit of a tall order, but the video has to get 1K views for me to actually continue doing this whole YouTube thing. This is kind of like the last hope of me actually doing YouTube. If I don't get the 1K views, then I don't really see a point in continuing this, and we'll see what happens. But you know, hopefully it does, and if not, then you know, I'll probably stop uploading on this channel. I knew 1K views was a bit of an unrealistic goal, but even so, if I wasn't sure that the time that I invested into this video would be worth it, what did it matter? Even if it was a great video and I enjoyed making it, if it didn't perform to my expectations, what was the point of continuing this? And that's what I realized I was doing wrong. I was caring about it. YouTube is kinda stupid. It's an unstable career based on luck that makes you think it's an easy road to success. Once I realized the unrealistic nature of becoming a YouTuber and how stupid it was to make my decisions based on luck, based on if my video might obtain an arbitrary numerical value that really doesn't matter in the end, rather than my own enjoyment and fulfillment, I decided that I was gonna keep doing YouTube. Not because of the sight of success and fame in the far distance, but because I genuinely really liked making these little videos of mine. Maybe that's the key to YouTube. Everybody wants to be a YouTuber because of the fame or glory, but what if the goal isn't that? What if the goal is just to do something that makes you happy? What if the goal is to make videos because you love making them and you want to improve just for the sake of wanting to make better videos? Not to hopefully get luckier with the algorithm and maybe someday find success, but just cause you love doing it. The path of becoming a YouTuber is deceptive. You see all these famous channels with millions of subscribers making millions of dollars, and it makes you think that you can do it too. There's a reason being a YouTuber is like the #1 job that kids want to have these days. It seems like a really easy way to make so much money by just having fun. In reality though, the path towards that light is a dangerous one. It's a path that everybody wants to take, but only a lucky few will come out of. It's a path that requires all your attention, that requires patience, effort, and struggle, that requires years of continually rolling the dice, just for a small chance to make it to the end. It might seem like a bit of a pessimistic perspective, but it also has truth. We're all just too focused on the destination rather than the journey. Is it worth going through this dark, dangerous road just for a small chance to make it to the end? No matter the goal of your channel, whether it be becoming a big channel, a small channel, or even less than that, it's gonna be difficult. It might take months, years, even decades to reach that goal. In 10 years, would it even be what you want to do? Even if you somehow reach that goal you have in mind, will you still want to keep going? So if you're considering becoming a YouTuber, or even if you are already a YouTuber, ask yourself this: do you love doing it? Let's face it, if you're gonna be a YouTuber, you're gonna have to do the same thing over and over again. Day by day, you're gonna have to sit down in front of a computer, record, script, edit, and publish over and over and over again. No matter how much you change things up, being a YouTuber is inherently repetitive, and most of the time, you aren't gonna get any return for all the time you spent. All the time you spent scripting the perfect video, all the countless of hours put into editing everything together, you won't gain any profit or fame or anything, and you're gonna have to do it all over again, every time. So look deep in your heart and ask yourself, do I truly love doing this? Even though I need to do these same tasks over and over again, do you still want to do it? Even if in 10 years I don't gain any views, even if I never get any success, do I still want to do it? And maybe, just maybe, through making videos just cause you want to, loving the process despite the struggle, despite knowing that it's not going to be popular, not going to give you anything in return, maybe through that, you'll find your destination.